Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel, Time with Lauren. I am so glad you're here. Today's video is a what we ate for dinner through the week. It's not 7 full meals because I often cook extra so that we can have leftovers. My husband has been home for the holiday, and so I'm cooking a lot larger meals more often than when I typically would prep meals for him to take to work. And oftentimes, if he's on night shift, the kids and I will have oatmeal for dinner sometimes. So I'm just washed some potatoes and got some round steak cut up that came from the half a cow we bought from the butcher. And then now I'm just straining up my kombucha to get that off the stove top. I worked on that in the afternoon and need to get that cleared up and off the counter so that I can proceed with dinner. If you're new here and haven't subscribed, then I'll invite you to please do so, as it helps my channel grow so much and also helps me know what kind of content to continue to get out for you guys. So I've been making kombucha for probably over 10 years now. So it's something that I always have going under my counter. Anyways, back to the potatoes. So I already washed those and I just brought them over here. I'm just cutting them up into big chunks. And I'm trying something new. I've done this only a few times. I'm not really sure if I love it. I'm using my raw milk here, and I'm just going to put the potatoes with the milk, but not even enough to really cover them. I'll show you here. It's just enough to come up almost to the top, maybe an inch from the top of the potatoes. So I just put the lid on and turn it to like a medium and let it kind of steam boil. I don't really want to boil hard the milk, but I'm just letting it steam. So I have full fat cultured buttermilk here, and I'm putting that on my round steak. It was pre-tenderized, but I've cooked some of this before, so I am just going to go ahead and tenderize it a little more because it wasn't as tender as we would like it. So I just cover it in plastic and take a smaller cast iron pan I can use with my hand and bang it out onto the counter and tenderize that a little more. So now I'm just going to add some flour to a dish and some seasoning. This is going to be our breading or our coating for the chicken fried steak. And this is my favorite way, probably how I fry most things when I do deep fry. As I use buttermilk, I really love that full fat cultured buttermilk. So I just coat whatever I'm frying in that. And you can see how the potatoes are going here. So they're getting soft and I'm kind of smushing them into the milk. So once you bread and season your flour and bread that, then you're just going to fry your steak. That's how I did it. And you can see that nice golden crust. It was super delicious. Second runner-up to deer steak because that's our favorite. And of course I made a gravy to go with it. This is just a basic gravy. I strained out some of the drippings and kept the rest. And then I just keep this in the oven to keep it warm. All right, that was for dinner. So this next night we are having homemade fresh ground biscuits, fresh ground wheat biscuits, and chicken gravy. So this is a super quick and easy meal. I'm just making my biscuits here. You saw me freshly grind the wheat. We have grated butter, buttermilk. Here we are again, one of my favorite ingredients. Then I'm just using some lard I've rendered last year and seasoning my pan. My pan is shiny because my husband recently removed all the coating. This pan is actually probably over 15 years old, but he ground it down with like a grinder and all kinds of things. And I wanted to see how I liked it. And so it was already well seasoned and pretty smooth, but I wanted to try that. So I'm really loving it, and he's going to do all my pans now. I have Lodge cast iron pans. So anyways, I just made my biscuits. Now I'm patting them out on the parchment. Fresh ground wheat biscuits are a little trickier to work with. So I do it on parchment versus just my countertop. And you can see here my 13-year-old, I've had this since we were married. It's just an old can, and I use it to cut my biscuits. So I just cut those out and put them in my greased pan here, and those are going to go in the oven. These are so delicious, and it really highly increases the nutrition using fresh ground wheat for your biscuits versus a conventional processed white flour that's void of nutrition. So look at this bone broth, y'all. That's bone broth, and it's literally Jell-O. So I'm just going to, I added some butter, good grass-fed butter and flour to my pan and made a roux, a light blonde roux. And then I just added my bone broth there and made a gravy. I recently roasted a whole chicken, so I had that. And I just added that. The meat was already pulled from the bone, so I just dumped that into the gravy to warm and kind of cook together and add a little bit of thyme. This is fresh thyme that I had from last summer and I hung to dry before I had the baby. I dried all my herbs. And so anyways, that's what I'm using, and they're extremely fragrant, far more fragrant than store-bought herbs. So anyways, this is dinner. It's sort of like a chicken pot pie, but my kids don't like their foods mixed very much. So I just take the chicken gravy and serve it on or alongside the biscuits with some sauerkraut and mixed vegetables on the side. This is like comfort food at its best, y'all. This is delicious, and this is a fast food for us. It takes just a few minutes to pull this all together. So on this night, I am just starting some jasmine rice. I've already rinsed my rice until the water ran clear. You should always rinse your rice to get off some excess impurities and also help it from being too sticky and starchy when you cook it. This is my favorite wild-caught salmon. It's the best that we can find locally and easily, and so I usually buy 2 or 3 once a month when I go to Costco. I lay the whole fillet flat like this and drizzle it with olive oil, and I will season it multiple different ways, but our favorite is like a barbecue seasoning, and this is one of my favorite meals to prep ahead. I will season this, cook this whole piece of salmon, and then I'll serve it over jasmine rice with some sort of green vegetable like broccoli or sweet peas, and I will sprinkle it with coconut aminos and make like a grilled salmon bowl, and that's one of my favorite meals to make and have for leftovers. It's also super fast dinner. All right, on this night we are having elk burgers, and I realized around 2:30 that we did not have buns in the freezer. I had used them all, so I am whipping up some fresh ground wheat hamburger buns. These are not sourdough, obviously, because I need buns in less than 2 hours. So I love sourdough, and that is the majority of what I cook and bake with for leavening. I do not use commercial yeast very often because I prefer the benefits that sourdough long fermenting offers for our body. However, I am not a purist, and I would much rather make my own homemade yeast rolls or yeast buns than I would have something from the store that is void of nutrition. These homemade fresh ground yeast buns are, they're going to be ready in less than 2 hours. They're packed full of vitamin E. Wheat bran, which is what you're getting when you grind the whole wheat berry in. I don't sift my flour when I grind it fresh. So you're getting the highest food source of vitamin E that you can get in this fresh ground wheat. So this is what I use if I'm in a hurry. I have a jar. I keep a pound of instant yeast in a quart mason jar in the freezer, and I have no problem using it to whip up some bread or rolls or buns or whatever we want. So you can see these are super nice, soft, stretchy. You wouldn't believe that these are 100% fresh ground wheat buns. It's an enriched dough, so I do add eggs and honey and oil, but these are just so soft. They're nothing like a dry store-bought whole wheat bun, and they're highly nutritious. So I really love being able to serve this to my family. So it didn't take me long to whip up the dough and knead in my mixer. I have an Anka shroom mixer, and so I just set it. It has like a timer, so I set it to knead for like 15 minutes, got it out and let it double. You saw that when I pulled it out of the oven, and then now I'm just shaping them here. They will rise quite a bit, so they look a little flat, but we also don't like too much bread. We like more meat than we do bread, so this is how we like our buns. So I'm just quickly popping them in a oven with the light on, but I'm leaving it open, the door cracked a little bit because it was a little warm. So that's going to create just a nice warm environment to let those rise extra quick. So a friend of ours gave us some elk burgers, so we are having that for dinner. I'm just going to get the meat on the pan here and shape them into burgers. I'm not super particular on the exact shape, but I do, try my best to make them round, but they all eat the same way. And I was in a hurry tonight. Tonight was a jiu-jitsu night for one of my children, so we needed dinner ready around 4:30 versus the regular 5:30 because we had to leave, and jiu-jitsu for us is about an hour drive. So anyways, we are so grateful that we can eat mostly meat that we have harvested and processed ourselves. It's went from the field to the table. That's the majority of the food that we eat. And so a friend of us gave us this elk meat, and we are eating it quickly and just enjoying every bite. So it's burger night, so we must have fries. I always have potatoes. I buy 50 pounds of potatoes from Azure Standard about every 2 months, but sometimes every 3 months, but sometimes every 2 months. Depends on what we have going on and how fast we go through them. Organic potatoes are something that we grow every year. So once we run out of what we were able to grow and provide, then I do buy these from Azure. They're organic, so I just wash them and we eat the skins and all. There's plenty of good nutrition and fiber in that potato skin, and it's organic, so I feel comfortable allowing my family to eat that, knowing that the soil was better quality and not sprayed with pesticides. So I'm just getting those on a pan here. My favorite trick, I use a lot of parchment paper. I don't really like this one that I got at Costco because it is a low quality and it's bleached. I did not know that it was bleached when I bought it, so I am smoking through it as fast as I can, and that way I can get rid of it or, be done with it. I don't want to waste it. But I use a lot of parchment when I cook just for ease of cleanup. I cook a lot, 3 meals a day, and often I'm cooking meals for other families as well. So I'm cooking to feed an army a lot of the time. So as much help as I can get when it comes to ease of cleanup and efficiency in the kitchen. All right, so I'm just seasoning these. The first thing that was red that you saw was a little bit of smoked paprika, onion powder, black pepper, and then salt right here. And I just drizzled them with olive oil. These are going to go in a 450-degree oven. Once they start getting kind of brown, I turn it down to 425, and they roast in about 25 minutes. We eat potatoes like this probably 2, 3, 4 nights a week. They're super easy, and we really like them. It's like in place of a French fry. So these are my buns. They rose, they doubled again. You can see how nice they look, and they were so delicious. We really like those. So just getting my burgers on this griddle here. I have another cast iron griddle. I don't really love this to cook on because my burners are so large that even though it does spread across both of them, it does seem like this spot here that I'm putting this one on and the one beside it is a spot that doesn't cook as evenly. And so it doesn't sear, it cooks because it's hot. But you can see like those 2 burgers there take longer to cook and they don't brown as much. So there's our buns. They baked in the oven 350 for about 25 minutes. They're wonderfully soft. This is our organic raw cheddar. I get this in a 5-pound block from Azure Standard. I buy 1 or 2 a month and we love it. It is getting significantly more expensive though. It used to be $25 for a 5-pound block. Now it's about $50. So raw dairy is something that's very important to our family for health, and raw dairy is significantly more nutritious and nourishing, and the vitamins and minerals being much more bioavailable, and the whole nutrition profile in raw dairy is much better. So something that we're striving to do and maintain, but with the way grocery prices are, and we'll see how that goes. All right, y'all, and that is dinner. Those who want cheese, our fries are done, and our buns just got those sliced up. And if you've never had a homemade warm bun with a burger, you are missing out. These buns are also great for breakfast sandwiches, and I'll do that sometimes. All right, y'all, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so, so much for watching, and that is it. I will see you in the next one, y'all. I'm praying blessings over you and your family.